just want to give you all the latest updates, okay? It is really getting interesting, and I feel like Diddy is really having a bad day. I told you guys that earlier. I knew it was going to be a bad day for him because Brendan Paul is testifying today, but Brendan hasn't even gotten on the stand, and it's already a bad day for Diddy, okay? So let's talk about it. Be sure to hit that like button. Please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, so now let's talk about it because records, now they were going through some more of Cassie's text messages, okay? And showing the charts and everything and just, you know, aligning everything with how Diddy spent his money and how he was, you know, scheduling the freak-offs and all of that. Okay, so now records show that messages between Cassie Ventura and others planning her fitting on March the 6th. Now, the timeline shows the photo first shown during Ventura's testimony in which she's wearing a gown and sunglasses during a fitting. Now, on the morning of March the 7th, Ventura texts Diddy, and she says, "This was supposed to be a really exciting day for me, and I wish I could just crawl in bed and stay there until I look better." That's because she had bruising on her eye. She had a fat lip, okay? And she basically didn't want anybody to see her looking like that because she felt like she looked a whole mess. So I'm sorry you guys have to keep hearing these sirens. Y'all know we're in downtown New York. Hold on, let's wait for them to pass. Hey with the people. All right, Claudette is in the house. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. Okay, so anyway, now the timeline shows a series of calls between Diddy and former Intercontinental security guard Eddie Garcia, and this was on March the 7th. So the timeline also showed photos of Garcia's license taken at 2:21 p.m. that was recovered from former chief of staff Christina Corum's phone. Now, there was a lot of stuff recovered from her phone, okay, and her laptops. And like I said earlier on the previous video, where the hell is this woman? Why wasn't she called to testify? Now, Garcia previously testified that he met Diddy to exchange the video footage for $100,000. Okay, there's the bribery. Okay, for anybody that's wondering. He met with Diddy to get the money that afternoon. And while he was there, he signed a non-disclosure agreement, and then Christina Coverup took a photo of his license. And why was that? Well, in case he wanted to try to run his mouth later, that Diddy could likely use it to intimidate him, just to remind him that, look, I know who you are and I know where you live, okay? I have your information, so keep your mouth shut, okay? That's coercion. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, or I won't say coercion, that's intimidation. Okay, so anyway, starting around 2:30 p.m. that day, Cassie called Diddy and Diddy's former security guard, Damian Butler, also known as D-Rock, okay, and her apartment building, and the cornstalk. Now, D-Rock then called her, and the call connected for less than a minute. Ventura then texted Morgan saying that I should have sued LOL, okay, and Morgan responded totally. So then Diddy called Cassie again for about a minute later that afternoon. Now, and Diddy was calling her nonstop, repetitively, back to back to back, and most of the time she wasn't even answering the phone. So on March the 7th, Diddy called Garcia twice, with a second call connecting for about a minute and a half. Two photos on Ventura's phone taken later that evening showed her and Diddy were together. So Garcia called Diddy on March the 8th for about a minute, and then Diddy called him later that night, but the call went to voicemail. Okay, Diddy called Garcia again the very next day, and Garcia called him back later, and the call was connected. Now, then on March the 25th, Diddy called Garcia for about a minute. So Cassie and Diddy, or Cassie and Diddy's assistant, El Moran, were on two calls starting at 5:30 p.m. And then shortly after that, there were about 4 more calls between the two, which was Diddy and Cassie. Okay, at 5:52, Christina Coverup, the former chief of staff again, texts Moran saying, I'm going to ask just to cover damages. Okay, now he wants to speak to the Spanish security guard. This is what Moran responded to KK, Christina Coverup. Say they had a fun, drunk night to try and get more information, Christina said. So they're all trying to cover up the fact that Diddy, you know, beat up Cassie or whatever, and they're basically like acting like it's something other than a whole fight over and freak-offs were going on. Just saying, let's just say they had a fun drunk night or whatever. Okay, so LOL, no shot. They aren't playing nice. That's what Marvin said. Okay, so then Diddy and his former security guard, Damian Butler, aka D-Rock, they called Cassie several times between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. with most of the calls going unanswered. So at 6:55 p.m., Carrie Morgan, the friend of Cassie's, you all remember, the one that Diddy hit upside the head with a wooden hanger, okay? Now, they said she texted KK a picture of a business card from LAPD and said, I don't think anyone should call her. Just letting them know, listen, she's possibly talking to the police, okay? So nobody needs to call. Then Christina asked if she could call Morgan in a bit when she was alone. She was looking for anyone to say the wrong thing so she can call domestic abuse. That's what Morgan said. Later saying, Cass just asked me to send you that. So then Cassie answered a call from D-Rock and the 2 calls from Christina or KK at 7 p.m. KK then texts Morgan at 9:55 p.m. saying, did you get security number 7? PD is asking. PD is P. Diddy, okay? So Morgan responds saying, wouldn't give it to me. Now then 2 photos were recovered from Cassie's device taken at 7:09 a.m. the next day. Okay, this was on March the 6th of 2016. Now on one of the photos, it appeared to be a picture of 2 men and the other showed someone sitting on a couch. Now, Diddy texts D-Rock saying, how is she? And this was at 9:32 a.m. She's okay, she's eating breakfast. Her face don't look bad, she good. This is what D-Rock texts back. He said Cassie was smiling and laughing and suggested Diddy call her or call the house. Now, all of this stuff that they're showing in these text messages is basically corroborating everything that Cassie said, and it's also basically showing that all of them were in on it, all of them knew about it, and about all of these things that were going on, and that all of them actively engaged in a whole cover-up, okay, of these things. And also that they were all engaged in setting up these freak-offs. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, likes up, everyone, please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so then, now on the cross-examination, when they were cross-examining the special agent, Penland, okay, defense attorney Tina Garagos questioned Delisa Penland, the special agent for the U.S. Attorney's Office from the Southern District of New York, on the list of individuals associated with the meetings in the charts. Because she had whole charts out there with times, dates, and everything, okay? It was very precise. So she said there could have been other people present, but if I did not have the evidence, their name is not in this chart. It does not have the name of every potential person that was at this gathering, Penland said. Now, Garagos read a series of messages between Diddy and Cassie from different points of time when Cassie wrote actually explicit messages to Diddy. And in one instance told him that she was always ready for a freak-off. Okay, now after reading each message, Garagos then asked the special agent to confirm the message wasn't included in the government summary chart pertaining to Cassie. Now, some of the messages Garagos flagged were dated around the time of the meetings between Diddy, Cassie, and escorts that are listed on the chart. So everything was lining up, okay? That's why I'm telling you all, this has been a bad day for Diddy. And it's only gonna get worse because Brendan Paul hasn't even taken the stand yet. Hey, Mims. And so with that all being said, some of the messages, Garagos pointed to a meeting in late July of 2012 that listed Ventura's name, but not Diddy's on the summary chart. Now, Penland confirmed that she didn't see messages between Diddy and Cassie related to the meeting, but she saw messages between Cassie and a contact named someone that was called Islander LA in the text conversation. Now, Cassie basically asked if he was available and told him to come as soon as he could because she had a flight to catch. So then, Tina Garagos started reviewing messages that previously had been entered into evidence. Now that's when it kind of got a little boring for me. It was kind of a snooze fest. I saw a few people just looking like they were dead tired and bored because these were now messages we're seeing that we've already seen before. Okay, so these messages had previously been entered into evidence in which Cassie expressed that she wanted to freak off, and then she was discussing planning the freak offs with Diddy and the escorts, mind you. So Garagos asked Delisa Penland, the special agent, multiple times whether she reviewed entries in the government summary charts to ensure they were complete, there were complete message threads included in the chart pertaining to gatherings between Diddy, Cassie, and the escorts. So Pendler responded each time that she's not involved with the case and only reviewed what the prosecution gave her to ensure the charts were accurate based on the underlying source documents that they provided to her. So she's like, listen, I didn't look at all that because I wasn't privy to that information. I really didn't have anything to do with that part of the case. All I was tasked with doing was reviewing the things that the prosecution gave me and wanted me to verify, okay, and make sure these things were accurate. So all that other stuff that y'all asking me about, I don't have anything to do with it, don't know nothing about it, okay? So I'm not gonna sit up here and lie, okay? That was basically her attitude. Now then, the jury watched portions of a video that they viewed yesterday, okay? It was recorded October the 14th of 2012, okay? Cassie previously testified that the video showed her and a man referred to as Dave during a freak-off. So they also watched portions of another video recorded that same day. You know, they were doing multiple freak-offs sometimes. It wasn't just one a day or whenever they did them. Sometimes it was 2, 3, and even 4. So the jury then watched portions of another video that was recorded on October the 20th of 2012. Now, Cassie previously testified the video showed her and a man called Jules during a freak-off. They then started watching portions of videos that were recorded December the 4th of 2014. Now, all of these videos are sealed because they're so very actually explicit. Okay, under seal means that we, the public, we did not get to see them. They were only for the eyes of the defense, the prosecution, the jurors, and the judge could see and hear these things. Now, mind you, when they started listening to it, the audio was a little too loud on somebody's mic, and so we could hear a little something. We were trying to get an earful, but unfortunately, before we could figure it all out exactly what was being said and who was saying it, one of the guards, one of the marshals came and told the attorneys, like, listen, they can hear y'all. They can hear that, so y'all might want to check your mic. So then they turned it off. So we couldn't hear anything. We're back to square one. Y'all know I'm nosy because I was trying to get an earful so I can bring y'all the tea. Okay, so anyway, now there was a video that the judge was viewing as well for almost 4 minutes long. And at this point, the jury had watched about 15 minutes of actually explicit videos, okay, under the cross-examination of Agent Penland. So when the first video was played, some sound was audible, like I told you all in the courtroom, okay? And if that damn court security hadn't alerted the judge, we might have been able to figure out exactly what was going on just from the audio, okay? And we were looking at the jurors' faces to see if they were having any type of reaction. They weren't. They had on their poker faces, okay? So we can't say whether they were shocked, appalled, you know, upset or whatever. They just weren't giving us anything, and that's likely because there has been videos done talking about their facial expression. So now they know to fix their faces, okay? Not to give us anything to go on. Now, and I wouldn't specifically point out specific jurors anyway, but I'm just saying, I was just looking just to be nosy, just for myself. Now, I wouldn't have gotten on here and told y'all who was looking like what, but I did just want to see for myself how they were responding, but they were giving us nothing, okay? So now, at one point, 5 of the 6 jurors sitting in the row, you know, like I said, they were just sitting there like this, and they didn't have any real expressions. You couldn't tell whether they were shocked, appalled, or whatever, unbothered. You couldn't tell. Okay, so anyway, as I said, when we come back from lunch break, Brendan is going to be testifying, and they already brought him in and gave him his immunity, and he was looking sharp as a whistle with his suit. He had on a dark suit. I believe it was black. It could have been navy blue, but I think it was black. And then he had his little haircut, okay, like a little, almost like a military haircut. You could tell he's clean cut. You could tell he's not about that life, okay? This young man had no business being anybody's rug mule because, I mean, just, you know, from knowing about the streets, I would definitely say that if you're going to use somebody like that for a rug mule, you're not too smart, because at the end of the day, if you get caught, or he gets caught doing or saying anything, well, he's absolutely going to tell. And that's just what he's about to do, but I'm here for it. Now, mind you, he came in with his attorneys, okay? He had 2 attorneys with him. They walked in, he went up to the stand, and basically sat down and agreed to his immunity deal and all of that. Okay, so, oh, Lord, hold on, guys. Okay, Somebody was out here playing loud music. Okay, I had to mute the mic. So, but that all being said, Claudette said he's going down. Yeah, he is. This is really a bad day for him, like I told you guys. And, you know, there's still some people saying that they don't see where there's a RICO. They just see this DV and all of that. But the bottom line is the government has really, you know, in my opinion, they have really proved their case as far as, well, I can't say they've proven their case. I can't say they've proven their case because here's why. We don't know what the defense has up their sleeve. Okay, we don't know what the defense has up their sleeve. But what I will say is this. They have laid out a lot of evidence. They have gone through the devices. They've extracted information that was stored on the devices, even old devices, okay? They've gotten information off of KK's devices, laptops and phones, okay? Stuff that's detrimental, stuff that proves that these people were working together, okay? And in fact, Diddy was planning these rendezvous, these freak-offs. He had schedules. Cassie was agreeing to the schedules. And also, they were showing his MasterCard receipts and all of that, where these people were being paid, these S workers, and things were being paid for, and the amounts that were paid matched the amounts that were negative on his MasterCard. Okay, shall I say the amounts that were paid matched the amounts of the transactions, okay, taken from his MasterCard. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention. They really have laid out a lot of evidence, and it is not looking good for the diddler, okay? It's just not looking good. So with that all been said, he wasn't present. Another thing is Diddy wasn't present when Brendan Paul came in and took the stand to agree to his immunity terms and conditions, because Diddy waived his choice or his right to be there because he wanted to go and watch some video or something. There were some files or whatever that he wanted to go look at and view. So, you know, he wasn't there when Brendan got on the stand. But what I want to see is when Brendan gets up there to testify, I want to see his mannerisms and if his voice tremors, because he looks like he was spooked. When he came in there this morning, he was looking straight ahead. He looked like he was just, you know, almost in a trance. Okay, he looked like he was spooked. Okay, at the end of the day, and I bet that he is, because like I said, he's not, I'm sure he's not about this life, okay? Moderators, do me a favor. Yeah, don't just delete his message, block him. Don't sit here and tell me not to tear down a black man, idiots. If you think that's what I'm doing and you don't like it, get the hell off my channel. Why would you listen to it if you think that's what I'm doing? Okay, I'm reporting the news, honey, from the courthouse, okay? And if you don't like what the queen is saying, then you don't have to be here. That's just how that goes, all right? Don't come telling me about tearing down no black man, because at the end of the day, a lot of Diddy's victims were black people too. So you sound stupid. Wasn't Tupac black? Wasn't Biggie? What about all the artists he took money and publishing for? Please miss me with it is all I'm saying, okay? Please miss me with it. You see, this is the thing I hate about idiots. It's so obtuse, because the bottom line is, why the hell are you mad about somebody else's choices, opinions, and views, but you think it's okay for you to have yours, okay? I'm sick of it, all right? I got time today. If you don't like what I'm saying, just leave. It's that simple, okay? It's that simple. Okay, I can't read these comments because some of them are going too fast. But anyway, Miss AP said happy birthday and rest in peace Tupac. Exactly, okay? Shout out to Tupac, honey. Listen, the next trial I'm waiting for is the trial of Dwayne Keefedy Davis in Las Vegas, February 2026. I'll be there, boots on the ground for that as well, okay? And I wouldn't mind coming to Luigi Mangione's trial as well. I don't know if I'm gonna make that one, but I'm thinking about it. Because we don't tear down, maybe we be ready. I can't read this chat's going too fast. At the end of the day, what I'll say is this. If you don't like what's being reported, then please go to another channel, okay? That's all I'm saying. Because it's not my fault Diddy's facing trial, that he's on trial. That's not my damn fault. Okay, I didn't tell the diddler to do any of the things that he did. Okay? And don't get mad at me, because I'm just reporting the news and sharing my thoughts and views on it. Okay? Now, I'm not going to keep repeating myself, period, point blank. All right? That's what we're not going to do. So, anyway, I'm about to be out of here. Said they played Pac too. You're just supporting the use. Moderators, block the person, Claudette. Block the person that just said I was supporting the use. I'm not supporting anybody but myself. Okay, I'm taking care of myself. Okay? Like I said, if you're not here for the news, then why are you in my chats? He won't want this for Diddy. You talk about Tupac. We hold court in the street, says Andre. Okay, is that what y'all do? Well, in Diddy's case, they're holding it inside the federal courthouse, beloved. All right. Miss AP said they're messing with your comments and deleting it. Well, be careful what you post, beloved. You know there's certain words that you can't use, so just be careful what you post. All right, so anyway, with that all been said, I'm about to be out of here. I'll be back when court is done for the day. I can't wait to hear what Brendan has to say, and I'll be reporting on it live right here after I get out. Okay, so anyway, moderators, make sure y'all are blocking the trolls. If you can't block them, I will after court. Do I need to add more moderators? Is that what I need to do? Because some of y'all are so mad. Some of y'all are in your feelings, okay? That's right, Andre said Pac was a revolutionary. Absolutely. He absolutely was, okay? He absolutely was. Thank you, Ladybug, for blocking the trolls, okay? Block the one that called me Uncle Ruckus. All right, block the one that called me Uncle Ruckus, whoever that was, honey, because you're clearly mad and pressed. Do y'all think y'all hurt my feelings because you mad about Diddy? Honey, I don't give a damn. This is my channel, and I'm going to say what I want to say. When I want to say it. Diddy is going down. Okay, it's a fact. Diddy is going to be found guilty. I mean, the trial's almost over at this point. Okay, the trial is almost over at this point. So anyway, listen, like I said, I'll be back. It's been a very gruesome day, okay, or should I say tiresome day. It's been a whole lot going on, a lot of arguments and people going at it amongst themselves or whatever. And then also this whole thing with the judge going off this morning. If you missed that video, please go back and watch. It's going to be more to come. So anyway, listen, I love you all to life. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives.